Welcome to Security Nuggets. In this series of videos, I'll bring security fundamentals to life by demonstrating common tools and techniques being used every day across today's cyber battlefields. The goal is to take the explanation of security fundamentals beyond the typical PowerPoint slideware. Instead, we will place you behind the monitor of a black hat threat actor. By seeing the tools and techniques being used firsthand, hopefully it will help build a foundational understanding of common security concepts. This video will focus on credential phishing. It was inspired by a recent FireEye blog post called Anatomy of a Public Cloud Compromise. This blog highlighted credential phishing as a primary strategy to access public cloud deployments. To kick things off, here is a conceptual depiction of the credential phishing attack we will demonstrate today. The target has an account in a cloud service, maybe hosting a VM, storing files, or leveraging an application such as Office 365. As with most web-based services, they access their cloud service using a username and password credentials. The threat actor does some reconnaissance and copies or spoofs the cloud service's login web page and email correspondences. I'll show you how this is done using a tool called GoPhish. A social engineered phishing email is sent to the target. The email is designed to have the target connect to a spoofed login page. Once connected, the target types in their username and password as if they were logging into the cloud service. The stolen login credentials are then sent to the threat actor. The stolen credentials can now be used to access the public cloud environment. Once in, they can exfiltrate data, steal computing resources, or access any of the cloud applications. For this demonstration, we're going to show a commonly used tool for phishing campaigns. The tool is called GoPhish. The GoPhish tool allows you to launch phishing campaigns and track the progress as your target receives the phishing email, opens it, clicks on the link, and finally sends their stolen login credentials to the malicious threat actor. In this case, our target is the Amazon Web Services login screen. We will make a note of the link so that we can use it to create our spoofed credential theft web page. We'll also copy this Amazon email to add authenticity to our social engineering phishing email. To do this, I just copy the source code from the spoofed Amazon email and add it to the GoPhish template. We can use the GoPhish tool to spoof the login website that we want to steal the credentials from. In this case, we'll spoof the Amazon Web Services login page. Using the tool, we copy the web URL for the site we want to spoof and import it into GoPhish. GoPhish will copy the HTML code and replicate the site. For sophisticated sites, Amazon Web Services being an example, this copying may not work perfectly. In those cases, you'll need to customize the HTML coding using the GoPhish tool. Once you have the spoofed website, you set the GoPhish tool to collect all submitted data and passwords. We are now ready to launch our campaign. We've set it to forward all credentials to our hacker workstation. Okay, let's see what the credential phishing attack looks like from our target's point of view. Here we see a spoofed Amazon Web Services email in our target's email box. The email is an exact copy of the one that we imported into the GoPhish tool. The only difference is that when we hover over the embedded links, they don't send us to Amazon Web Services. They send the target to the malicious web link of our credential theft web page. When the target clicks on the link, they're redirected to the spoof Amazon Web Services login page. Thinking they are logging into their Amazon public cloud instance, the target types in their username and password credentials. Now let's go back to our GoFish console. Our credential phish attempt has been a success. We sent the spoofed phishing email, it was opened, and the target clicked the link. They were redirected to the spoofed AWS login page, and they submitted their username and password credentials. As we review the result of the credential theft, we see that the target username and password log information has been collected by the GoFish console. So what will the threat actor do with these credentials? A FireEye blog post called An Anatomy of a Public Cloud Compromise found that such credentials were very often used to log in and compromise a target's public cloud infrastructure. Once they have access, they can view and modify all the server, networking, and storage setup in the cloud data center. In this case, they have access to a web application hosted in the cloud made up of a web server, a data server, and protected by a Palo Alto Networks firewall. With a few clicks of the mouse, they log into the firewall console and can check out application usage dashboards and key performance metrics. So as you can see, it's very easy to trick people into giving up their login credentials using basic social engineering. But why is this important? A few reasons. The first is this is a growing risk. These attacks are easy, and they don't even require any special vulnerabilities or exploits. Everyone is at risk. All the money you spent on security technology to lock down your corporate enterprise will not protect you against these attacks. The second is a piece of advice. Take advantage of the inherent cloud security features. Most cloud services have cloud security capabilities built into them, and they'll protect you against these problems. Use the two-factor authentication option so that basic credential theft will not grant access to the cloud resources. Also, carefully configure the identity and access control settings on your cloud to limit who can make changes and the types of changes that are allowed. The third piece of advice is to monitor and train your user base. Monitor your users to make sure they're not reusing corporate credentials or storing corporate data on unsanctioned public cloud services. Corporate user awareness programs will help decrease the likelihood of your employees falling for the credential phishing attacks in the first place. Well, that wraps up another Security Nuggets video.